Emma James over here with me to watch. Good to see you. Now, it's power to the people today here in France, isn't it, with the big strikes going on everywhere. You've been looking at some of the images and stories that have emerged.
Yes, if you've been looking online, certainly in French users on Twitter, you cannot escape the word grève, which means strike. The hashtag Grève 9 Mars, strike 9th of March, is everywhere. And I think my favourite image from today is this particular cartoon from a gentleman called Rodot. And he's got the President, François Hollande, and Manuel Valls and Emmanuel Macron looking out the window at the gathering hordes there. And Hollande is saying, happily, we're here to wake up the left. Although, of course, it's not quite in the way that he might have liked, because it is sometimes easy to forget that we do have a socialist government here right now in France. I thought the facial expressions here were quite interesting. Hollande looks very worried. Manuel Valls has pursed lips, while Emmanuel Macron looks like he's plotting something.
Looks like he's enjoying it too much.
Yes, he looks like a man who could be planning a presidential bid in 2017, I think. Anyway, that aside, out on the streets in Paris and across the country, people seem to have also revived their senses of humour, certainly when it comes to politics. This image was seen on a placard. Sarko, you've messed it all up. The left are out in the streets. Oh, wait. And what they've done is created an image that is a mixture, rather terrifyingly, of Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande, showing just how the two sides really aren't that different at this moment in time. This one is a little tricky to see, but what this particular homemade banner says is, take a good look at your Rolex, this is the hour of the revolution. And it does seem that whenever there are protests in France, everything looks terribly revolutionary because of this iconic site that we have, the Place de la République, which always makes it look as though it is an amazing film set. Some images that I've seen that have come in from Lyon, though, make it look slightly less revolutionary in a good way. There appear to be tear gas canisters being set off in Lyon. I've not seen much about Lyon online, but that one did come in a couple of hours ago. Now, we don't yet know how many people have been on the streets across the country. Estimates are varying fairly widely. What we do know, though, is that on change.org, the petition against this work law, No Thank You, has been signed by more than 1.2 million people, so plenty of support out there for it. The Guardian has also been looking at this issue and whether or not this is going to define François Hollande's legacy. What legacy, you may ask? He is the most unpopular president since polls began, and at the moment it looks as though that will be his legacy. However, what this article says is that if he manages to change the labour laws, which have always been sacrosanct here in France, absolutely untouchable, then that could really change things for François Hollande, and he could become known for that very reason. Now, what this writer says is the protests have attracted a potent mix of left-wing students and French trade unionists, and it poses a big, big threat to Hollande and his big plans. It's the first such collaborative protest since he took office 4 years ago. Now, Angelique Chrysifis says here that if he rolls back on these labour reforms, he'll be seen as weak, something he's already accused of. His nickname is Flamby. It's a gelatinous floppy dessert, and kind of sums up how most people look at him. But she says if any of these youth protests really gather pace, then he's going to have to do something to calm them.
Let's move on. You've been following all the developments on a royal controversy in the United Kingdom after one tabloid newspaper claimed that Queen Elizabeth is in favour of a Brexit. Is this true?
Well,
what Her Majesty says.
This is the big question. It came courtesy of a tabloid newspaper called The Sun, which is known for blowing things a little out of proportion. Queen backs Brexit, they say, bombshell claim over Europe vote. But when you read the article, it actually goes back to comments she made in 2011, when Brexit really wasn't a big issue on the political agenda. She was having lunch at Windsor Castle with government ministers, including Nick Clegg, the then Deputy Prime Minister. And she said that the EU was heading in the wrong direction. They say she spoke with venom and emotion. The Sun say that they had a highly reliable source. People who heard the conversation were left in no doubt at all about the Queen's views on European integration. But since then, Buckingham Palace has lodged a complaint about this article, and Nick Clegg himself has said, as I told the journalist, this is nonsense. The Sun, though, say that look at the denial. It's a non-denial denial. It's saying, I don't remember, not it didn't happen. However, was it just about the direction of Europe, or was she talking about get the UK out of the EU?
And we'll leave it hanging there. Thank you very much indeed, Emma James with Media Watch. Marcus, thank you for the business too. Great to see you both. And thank you for being with us as well. Stay with us, more to come.